Architecture has always been a tool to weave the national narrative. With that being said, we, the Group 4, are very delighted to be sharing with you this themed architectural design of the Asian and Middle Eastern, and how this mode of art anchors the belief and cultural aspirations of the people. The Asian continent is home to many countries and ethnic groups with diverse cultures and histories, making it known worldwide as a salad bowl of cultures. Some of the world's oldest and most sophisticated societies, these ancient people created architectural marvels dating back to 5000 BCE. Ancient Asian architecture is known for its rich diversity, stretching from the Indus Valley to northern Mongolia, from Turkey to the islands of Indonesia and Japan. Most Asian architecture was influenced by ancient religions, with Hinduism and Buddhism emerging as major influences. Prominent examples are temples and worship sites, which typically includes large open pavilions to accommodate large groups, praying or meditating, as well as acoustic elements.
The first element that I will introduce is the symbolic ornament. So incorporating symbolic ornaments such as animals and mythical creatures are among the prominent characteristics of Asian architecture. These carved ornaments are usually seen as designs on the roofs of imperial palaces, temples, and pagodas. So in China, they serve as a decorative. But aside from that, they also believe that these are protection from fire and other natural calamities. So these are examples of structures that incorporate symbolic ornaments in their roof designs. First is the Tian Ho Temple in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and the second one is from Philippines, the Friendship Arch in Binondo, Manila. One characteristic of the Asian architecture is the symmetrical and balanced layout. This is observable mainly in India and East Asia, particularly the Chinese traditional structures. Symmetry is an important philosophy and aesthetic in the Chinese culture. The buildings, such as temples and palaces, follows this axis-centered principle in order to maintain the balance of the structure. But of course, the balance here does not only pertain to the structure itself, but also to its relationship with nature. Japanese architecture is also an excellent example of this. It's because they put emphasis on this element to create a harmonious relationship between their buildings and landscape. Here are the structures that display symmetry and balance layout. First is the Marble Temple of Bangkok, Thailand. Second is the Forbidden City, located in Beijing, China. And last is the Main Gate of Chinatown in the Philippines.
The third characteristics is the brick and woodworks. Some of the common characteristics of Asian architecture are wooden columns and paneling. Although ceramic building materials had been known in East Asia from 3000 BCE, fired bricks were introduced during the construction of the tomb of China's first emperor. Scattered also around Vietnam, many of the houses in this collection used lattices constructed out of bricks. Wood was also used as it is easy to work with. The good workability of this material enables structures to be built faster, especially in ancient Chinese architecture, allowing unique carpentry to add, dismantle, and rebuild. The results shine in Calamba, Laguna with brickworks, also known as the Bahay na Bato.
History of Middle Eastern or Islamic architecture. The term Islamic architecture refers to a particular architectural design that was developed in the 7th century by the Mohammedans or adherents of the Islamic faith as a physical representation of Islam's principles. The mosque or Muslim house of worship is a structure that is most usually connected with Islamic architecture. However, Islamic architecture includes both secular and sacred structures. Large mosques, forts, palaces, tombs, schools, and other public buildings are also included, as are minor fountains, public baths, and household buildings. Early Islamic architecture was influenced by pre-existing architectural styles like Roman, Byzantine, and Persian. Chinese and Mughal architecture also had an impact on Islamic architecture as it extended from the Middle East to other parts of the world, particularly Asia.
Minarets, an Islamic religious architecture and is always connected with the mosque. Minarets are constructed in a wide variety of forms, ranging from thick, squat, spiral ramps to soaring delicate pencil-thin spires. Usually it has a square base, rising through a series of circular, hexagonal, or octagonal stages with a projecting balcony. Its upper part is decorated with rich carvings. Minarets are Greek watchtowers during the early times. It is also built as a landmark of Islam, visible from afar as a stamped site with Islamic character. The image shown is the Grand Mosque of Cotabato, which is the largest mosque in the country. The mosque has gold-plated domes and minarets towering over 40 meters, all on an area on a 5-hectare land.
Another characteristic of the Middle Eastern architecture is the dome. A dome is a structural element that forms a hollow upper half of a sphere. Sometimes it serves as a whole shelter and sometimes it is utilized as a ceiling or a roof, which most Middle Eastern architectures do. Most Islamic architectural domes are placed on pendentives, which are a construction element that permits placing a dome over a square or a rectangular space. Influenced by the Byzantine architecture at the start, Muslim architects continued incorporating domes in their designs, which eventually made domes be considered as an important architectural element in the Islamic architecture and are often used especially in mosque architecture. The dome is usually placed on top of the main prayer hall of a mosque. On the screen are the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem and the Grand Mosque in Marawi that feature domes. Another element of the Islamic architecture is the arc. Arcs are a curved structural form that supports loads over an opening. Influenced by the Greek and Roman architectures, Islamic architecture developed 4 different types of arcs, which are pointed, ogee, horseshoe, and multifoil. A pointed arc is an arc where the apex or the highest part is pointed compared to the Roman round arc. An ogee arc is an arc like the pointed arc, but it is composed of ogee curves or S-shaped lines. A horseshoe arc is like a round arc, but the rounded curve on top rounds off to its supporting pillars, and the width of the arc's curve is usually bigger than the supports. A multifoil arc is an arc containing multi-circles or foils or leaf shapes that make it look like the shape of a scallop.